Welcome to Devotionals, brief devotions for busy people. I'm Craig. I'm the worship pastor at 9th and O, and delighted to be with you today. As the worship pastor, I get the privilege of choosing the songs that we sing here at the church. And, when you're learning how to do this, how to plan services and all these kinds of things, one of the things that you're constantly told is that no one's ever going to be happy with all the songs that you choose. And I've found that generally to be true. There's songs that I pick that some people just don't like. But what I've found is there's at least one person who loves every song that we do, and that's me. I pick all songs that I like, and that doesn't mean that we're not doing all the songs I like. There's plenty of songs I like. But among all of these songs that I like, there's one that really often just bubbles to the top, and that is the song, Behold Our God. You may be familiar with that. We sing it regularly here at church, and it's a song that's ministered to me for many years since I first heard it, and I know it's a favorite for many of us. There's a lot of things that I love about this song, but one of the things I love in particular is the way that the structure of the song in part mirrors Isaiah 40. And you may be familiar with that passage, but Isaiah 40, particular verses 12 through 14 says, "Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand and marked off the heavens with a span, enclosed the dust of the earth in a measure and weighed the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance? Who has measured the Spirit of the Lord, or what man shows him his counsel? Whom did he consult, and who made him to understand? Who taught him the path of justice, and taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding?" And what I love about the song is that it takes these ideas and these verses in Isaiah right here, and it kind of unpacks them a little bit for us. And we see this in each of the three verses of the song. And then the refrain, "Behold our God seated on his throne," is the doxological response to that revelation of who God is. And then the bridge, we get to that part where the men are singing, "You will reign forever, the women, let your glory fill the earth," as that worship is just amped up, and we together rejoice in our God. Well, I want to, just for a moment, quickly look at the character of God as revealed through these lyrics based on the words of the prophet Isaiah. In the first verse, we see the idea of God's sovereignty, God's sovereign rule over all things. God is sovereignly ordering and sustaining and upholding the world by the word, by the power of His word. All things are superintended, in a sense, by our God. And as the King, He always has His way. What He desires is what He gets, and nothing will thwart His purposes. Psalm 47, 6 through 7 says, "Sing praises to our God, sing praises to our King. For God is the King of all the earth. Sing praises with a psalm." And that's what we do in this first verse. We sing praises to our King who is seated on His throne. The second verse in Behold Our God speaks of God's wisdom. God's wisdom, I've heard before, a definition of God's wisdom is whatever God thinks on a particular topic. That is wisdom. Paul's prayer for the Colossian believers in Colossians 2 is that their hearts may be encouraged, being knit together in love, to reach all the riches of full assurance of understanding of the knowledge of God's mystery, which is Christ, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. And we see God's wisdom most clearly displayed in Jesus and His death and resurrection. And then verse 3, Behold Our God, speaks of God's love seen in the gospel of Jesus Christ through His death and His resurrection. 1 John 3:16. We know John 3:16. 1 John 3:16. "By this we know love, that He laid down His life for us." And so we see, in some sense, the doctrine of God's providence. I think of providence as the intersection of God's sovereignty and God's wisdom and God's love for us as God acts on our behalf. And so we see His providence in these verses. It's the bedrock of our confidence found. Each quality is necessary for God to be God. If any of these three qualities of sovereignty or wisdom or love were lacking, we would not understand the fullness of our God. But blessed be the name of the Lord that He possesses all of these things. And indeed, as we sing these realities, it leads us to that chorus, "Behold our God." It's not a mockery like when Pilate came before the mob, "Behold your King." No, we are worshiping the true and the living God. Indeed, He is our King. He is our God. And we look to Him and we are changed. And this worship, as we said before, it gets amped up when we get to the bridge. "You will reign forever." It is our joy that God will be the King forever, that He has His way and His will. It is for our good and for His glory. And as the ladies sing together, they echo Habakkuk 2:14, "For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. And it's our joy and our delight that our King's glory will be seen in all of creation when all things are made new after Jesus returns. So today, maybe these lyrics will reverberate in your mind. Sing it as you're at your desk or as you're out walking, as you're listening to this now. Look to Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. Behold our God today. Find in Him all that you need, for He sovereignly and wisely loves you. Well, God bless you. Have a great day.